Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching. I'm here at Kimono Maron Gate. Pardon me if I mispronounce that, right here in Tokyo, Japan. So, we're going to talk about the little tea ceremony and the samurai experience. So, thank you for watching. Hello everyone, thank you again for watching, and obviously that intro was shot in Tokyo, Japan. This one was shot at home at a later time, so I had time to plan and edit certain things. So, yes, I was recently in Japan, and on one particular day, day 3, I had two experiences, the tea experience and the samurai experience. See, when the birds are listening, and I stopped at the Ninja Bar and Cafe. And it was a pretty fun day, so I wanted to talk about those three things. By the way, that first intro, that was shot in Asakusa district. Pardon me if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm not very good with foreign pronunciations. But that's near the tourist zone, and that was not too far from where the tea and the samurai experience were. They were with a place called Maikoya. I'll leave a link to their website, and the address is below. Keep in mind, they have different places throughout Japan. The tea experience, that's in Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And the samurai experience, that's in Tokyo and Kyoto. So be mindful when you schedule it, because a lot of the places are pretty far apart. In Tokyo, the tea and the samurai are right next to each other. So, let's get started. Okay, the tea experience was the first one I did, and basically it is what it is. It's like this ceremony where they prepare tea in a certain way, not the routine, you just drop it in a mug, add a little milk and sugar and bottoms up. No, they go through the different steps. And as a friend of mine once said, who's also Asian, when in Rome, become Roman. Well, in this case, when in Japan, become Japanese. So, as you can see by these pictures here, they do you up in a kimono cosplay. And they have different outfits and styles to try on, and you pick the one that you like. And then prior to the ceremony itself, you know, they put you in another room where they have the display in the background, and you have a few minutes to take pictures, do a little poses and stuff, as you can see. I even met a few friends, and I helped them with some of the poses too. I did a little art direction with the camera, like, you know, I was just doing some basic poses, but then I was trying different things and encouraging others to do as well, you know, to like you're telling a story, like here you're praying to the gods, or you're praying for peace while your husband's at war, that sort of thing. Now, in the experience itself, the tea experience, they don't allow video, but they do allow photos. So as you can see here, I took a few stills in between while going through the different steps. You're in a room, like I said, no chairs. It's like the, you know, old-fashioned, I don't know if that's the proper way of putting it, Japanese experience, but, you know, you sat on your knees. I did what I could to the point. I'll be honest, I'm not used to that. It's very uncomfortable after a while, so I kept changing, like doing Indian style or trying to get back on my knees and go along with everything. And they go through the different stages. They talk about the types of tea and all the things involved in it and how to pair it, and pretty much after you've made your own tea, you know, they go through the rounds and it's bottoms up. I don't want to go into too much detail, you know, beyond that, because, you know, there's a little more to it than just drinking tea. It's trying to immerse yourself in the culture, get an idea of some of the history, and what life is like that in Japan and everything, stuff like that. Now, it may not seem like much to you, but it's actually a lot of fun. And it is kind of an interesting experience. And you might say to yourself, well, I don't drink tea at all. You don't have to be a big tea drinker to understand or appreciate it. It's something you just try out. Well, it doesn't seem that exciting. Well, not everything is all this big, like, dance or wonder, excitement and everything. Some things are a little more subtle or relaxed or more down to earth. And that's the whole, you know, point besides that. And here we had the group shot at the end. And again, outdoors, you know, they took us on the roof area where there was also more backdrops, where we had additional time to do more photos and cosplay and stuff, which is a lot of fun. So the whole tea experience, the whole cosplay thing, makes for an interesting hour, you know, while you're there. It's not that long. You're in and out before you know it. but you walk away with some interesting photographs and a nice little, experience from Japan. The samurai experience. That was also at the same place, or company I should say, Maikoya. If I'm mispronouncing that, pardon that. Like I said, it's all in the website you see below. But that and the tea experience were right next to each other, like just a 5-minute walk apart. So as soon as I was done with the tea experience, I took a walk over to the Samurai Museum, where, similar like before, they dress you up in a type of cosplay, and they do this brief performance, and they talk about like the history of the samurai and stuff like that, and they show you how to do the moves themselves. It's a group participation thing. I was by myself, but there were a lot of other people there with families and stuff and friends, and you take turns going out to try the thing. Here's the performance that I did. Interesting, but I don't know. I think we could do something to spruce it up a little bit, give it a little bit of flair. How's this? Better with the music and everything. And yes, for those of you who grew up in the 80s, that was a little audio snippet from music from Revenge of the Ninja, the classic 80s, action film starring Kosh Kikuchi, who was absolutely awesome. If you grew up in that area in that time and you're into those type of films, you know exactly what I'm talking about and everything and stuff. So that's definitely worthwhile just to learn about the samurai experience. The opening thing, which I forgot to mention, they put you on in the samurai armor that they went into battle with. And it's only like a makeshift of it. The helmet seems pretty authentic, and it's also pretty heavy. Not the most comfortable thing on your head. And after you've gone through that and the samurai experience and stuff, they walk you through the samurai museum itself, where they show the different armors and everything, and they even have a room where they do the ninja experience, where you get to practice throwing stars against the wall, taking turns. They do a brief little competition and stuff like that, and you get to learn a little bit more about the history itself. If you're not that much into the history, it's still interesting to listen to, and the armor's cool to look at the different types that they have. I even asked them, who is more powerful? Because they talk about both samurais and ninjas and the hierarchy from like the shoguns, who were really the person in charge, and then you had the emperor, who was the top of the hierarchy but didn't really have much authority or power. It was pretty much the shoguns do everything. So that's just the way it was. Who's more powerful, a samurai or a ninja? And it was a perfectly serious question. And the way they explained it to me briefly is, well, it depends on what the situation is. If it's out in the open in battle, or in the forest in battle, chances are the samurai had the advantage. They had the armor and everything, as well as the weaponry. Ninjas had the weaponry, but they didn't have the armor. I couldn't honestly tell you, as far as fighting techniques, who does better. I'm not into martial arts, but it's just interesting to know. Ninjas, they said, were more like assassins, so their idea was going in stealth. They were always in black, they always usually did things at night, and even some of the accessories they had, or the equipment they used, and the weapons, had multi-purposes. Like the sword, which has the square at the top of the hilt, that was actually designed to step on to get, a boost while climbing up a wall, and then they used those claws to scale in. It's not like there was an army of ninjas, coming out, opening into attack, unlike the samurais. That was more their role. And the hairstyles that the samurais wear, it turns out that is not some fashion statement. That's actually, it's done by design because it helps the helmet fit on their heads more comfortably, which that I didn't know about at the time. And there's more to observe. Like I said, I'm not a big history buff, but watching it and looking at some of the exhibits that they have there, it's definitely worth the time and effort. So, what do you think? Are you ready to become a samurai? Well, I'd say give it a shot. And lastly, we had the ninja experience, which was at the Ninja Bar Cafe. It was a little further out, not within the same vicinity of the Tea and Samurai, so I had to plan a little bit as far as traveling goes. And it's a small establishment, and I'm gonna admit, it's a little on the silly side, but still, I had a lot of fun doing it and everything. Basically, they go in these like makeshift ninja costumes that you cosplay in. As you can see here, they dress you up, and they have food and drinks. It's not much. You're more there for like the whole visual experience and the entertainment aspect of it. Them, just like the samurai, they have ninja throwing stars against the wall. They also have a blowgun, which they can use, and they give you new mouthpieces, so you're not spreading germs. You don't have to worry about that. And, it's more family oriented. There were a few families there with their kids and everything, and it seemed like the kids were having a lot more fun than the adults, but still it's a good time and everything. It doesn't last that long. You're in there, you have a few meals, you try on, their costume, you do a few poses and everything. Some even pose right outdoors in front of the place. Do a few throwing stars and darts against the wall, and pretty soon you're done. And that's the whole gist of it and everything. So, what do you think? You think you'd be into something like that? Maybe some of you have never been to Tokyo or have no desire to visit Japan or any of the Asian countries, and that's fine if that's your choice. But if you've never been there, or you're at least considering or planning it, this is something I would, one or all three of those experiences that I did, I would definitely recommend them. Those were things I looked up on my own. I didn't do it through a travel agent. A travel agent helped, and I said on that one day, I'd like to plan my own excursions for that particular day. And those were just doing general searches. Somewhere on, I think it's cloak.com, and just like I said, general Google search, things to do in Tokyo. And that's how I found those things. And again, if you're into cosplaying and trying new things and immersing yourself in the culture of Japan, those I would definitely recommend. All three of them. And I didn't leave without getting some souvenirs. I have my infamous samurai umbrella. It looks like an umbrella, only it's got the hilt of a sword, and may not come in very handy in battle, but definitely if you're battling in the rain. And another little, novelty gifting was my samurai sword, chopsticks and everything. Always come in handy, for food and everything and lunch. I don't know about going into battle, but definitely still a little gift to walk away from, something to remember them by and everything. So that's pretty much the whole experience. What do you say? Have a little tea and let your inner samurai or ninja come to life. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you one day get to share those experiences as well.